NCT127.
NCT127.
What does that mean?
Neocourse technology.
K1.
Gak cuma ceritakan perjalanan karir, tapi juga mengungkap lebih dalam masa kecil para member NCT127 yang berjaya sampai pasar global. Dokumenter NCT127 The Lost Boys yang tayang sejak 30 Agustus 2023 kemarin punya keunikan dalam menyampaikan cerita para K-pop idols yang erat dengan ingar-bingar dan kepopuleran. Kesembilan member yakni Yuta, Jaeyeon, Taeyong, Jungwoo, Doyoung, Haechan, Mark, Taeil, dan Johnny membeberkan kisah menyentuh yang belum pernah terungkap ke publik sebelumnya. Gimana cerita di balik layarnya ya? Nah, Kumparan berkesempatan interview langsung sutradara dokumenter NCT127 The Lost Boys. Kepoin yuk!
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. I think it's my first interview in Indonesia for sure. How we came up with the idea. Obviously, you want to be creative and you want to come up with something, special. But I think what's more important is being truthful to the subject matter. It's always substance over style, not style over substance. And so we came up with the idea based on off-the-record interviews we did for like over 10 days with the members. So it was a very organic process. It wasn't something like, oh, we're gonna do it this way, so can you make sure you gear it toward this direction. It was more about like we were learning about their history. We're learning about like who they were as people. Yeah, we had done like 2 months of research with a writers team prior to meeting them for these off-record interviews. And during the off-record interviews, we figured out that a lot of them were forgetting about their childhood. Like they were so busy living in the present and such a busy schedule that when we were asking them questions about their personal life, as you do in documentaries, like about their history, about where they come from, their hopes and dreams and their fears and their pure-hearted dreams from their childhood and things like that. And the Lost Boys concept came from that actually, because in the book Peter Pan, once Peter Pan and the Lost Boys go to Neverland, they forget their past. They have a bad memory. They forget where they came from. They forget who their parents were, and all they remember is what's in the present. And that's basically what all my members were feeling. Like every one of them were telling me that oh my God, I've never thought of that. And they were trying to remember. And throughout that process, I remember some of the members calling their parents up, some of them looking through family albums to see. And it was sort of like an exploration with them together into their past. I'm glad I'm doing this interview in Indonesia because there's a lot of Indonesian fans. People are thinking that all of this writing is from the writers team, but in fact, 99.9% of all you hear, even the narration and even like them narrating their own stories, or even Taeyong like speaking in the middle, or the improvised scenes, those are not scripted. Those weren't the writers writing it. All the words, like even Taeyong's monologue at the end about all adults are actually children wearing the masks of adults. He said that. We never even wrote that for him. So one thing that I think fans should know and they should be proud of is they have really thoughtful members.
Nah, para member menuangkan kisahnya dengan konsep yang berbeda-beda. Menariknya, mereka berani untuk mencurahkan masa kecil mereka yang belum pernah disampaikan. Jayil bilang prosesnya berjalan secara otentik. Para member melakukan interview off the record satu persatu.
The interviews, obviously, like it's off the record, but we can't disclose it. But based on the off-record interviews, it's word for word in the film. Sometimes like when they're telling the stories, or what Mark said during his story about his childhood, those aren't like, we didn't write it for him. He said those in the off-record interviews. We just organized it in script form and then he narrated. And sometimes like even Haechan during the hypnosis scene, which is actually a fictitious scene, it looks like, but all of his lines are actually not lines, but what he said in an off-record interview. We just put the questions in. The fictitious part is like the hypnotist child saying those words, but all the actual words are Haechan himself telling the truth. You know, we're trying to find who they were as human beings, like, and as superstars, because there's the dichotomy there. But like, I think Jaehyun says it best, you know, it's the public image and also the private image. They're both them, you know. So to present that honestly, because, you know, it's not like this is fake and this is real and this is fake and this is real. Both are real, you know. And I think Jaehyun said it so well, you know, in interviews. And I think the process was trying to interview them and trying to understand what their identity was and the best way to bring about a harmony between the public image and the private image, you know. So, you know, he says it in the documentary. He says, you know, you always have to, there's this pressure to always like seem perfect, you know, like flawless in front of the camera, in front of audiences. But the thing is, like, I'm this persona, but also I'm Jaehyun, the regular human being as well, you know, without the makeup, you know. And it's great because I think recently what went viral was he's still handsome, a great picture of him without any of the stage makeup, and he's taking a picture of himself, and it was like a recent thing, and I'm like, this is right after the documentary, and I loved it because I think now it's like at the 7th year, all the members are not growing into their own. Now they could, you know, because, you know, up to the 7th year, being like a K-pop idol, like, you don't know how free you are with the company and stuff, but now I think they're growing into their own. It was like one-on-one, because if you do it in a group, they're going to be so hilarious. So one-on-one, very personal. So that's why I think when we do the personal off-the-record interviews, like, many members cried because they were surprised when they were crying because they never had a chance to even talk about this stuff or like reflect on the past. It's not because it's like the sad element of their life or something depressing. It's because they're looking back. Some even cried, like, looking back on how happy their childhood was, you know? Yeah, I teared up a lot too in the interviews, and so did my main writer. So I think that experience was just phenomenal for us. Now it's a weird thing because as a documentarian, you have to be objective, but at the same time, now that it's over, you can be a stan, you know. But like, I'm more of a fan of them as human beings, because, man, that's just a snippet of the story they shared, but like, all of them have just incredible stories. And like, even some fans said it, like, about Haechan, that what we shared in the documentary is only like minuscule compared to the actual story that Haechan had, and we had to respect, you know, Haechan's family. We didn't want to go too much into the details, but I think most fans know what I'm talking about. It felt like I was interviewing people that had experience in war, coming back from war, veterans who had wisdom. So, and I'm much older than them. Like, you know, even like the oldest member, I'm like 10 years older than Tae. So, like, I was looking at them like there were. I have so much to learn from, you know, NCT127 members now. So it was a very humbling experience. Great human beings, and their stories are just what were inspiring. After doing the interview for like 4 to 5 or 6 hours, they have to go shoot a music video, like shoot a music video for AO, or like right after Utah did the butterfly dance sequence in the subway, like that was like in the middle of, it was like 2, 3 in the morning. And then he had to go right away to do the AO music video. So
Jayil Park sebelumnya viral di Indonesia dengan film pendek berjudul Georgia yang bercerita tentang perjuangan orang tua yang menuntut keadilan bagi anaknya yang menjadi korban kekerasan seksual di Korea Selatan. Seorang anak muda dari Indonesia bernama Ayu memviralkannya di Twitter dan diajak collab bikin dokumenter NCT127 The Lost Boys.
The short film that it went viral in Indonesia, and it was just such a huge surprise, and I got really close with Ayu. And she was a film major in, I think, Jakarta. So, you know, the famous school in Jakarta, film school. And, you know, she had just tweeted something, and then the short film went viral. And then I was still on the festival circuit, but so many people wanted to watch it. I was like, all right, I gotta show it. Who cares about festivals, you know? So I showed it, and so many people watched it. I think like hundreds of thousands of people watched it, and because of that, you know, I love Indonesia. I love Indonesia. So I think even like when we were doing this concerts, we only had a set budget to only go to certain concerts. I said we have to go to Indonesia. Like I wanted her to, you know, work on this project as well. Thank you so much for the amazing reception. Because, like I said, we went through, like the members also went through a lot, but like we were so thankful that so many people noticed how hard we worked on it, the details, just to get this accurate, that accurate. And a lot of Indonesian fans noticed it, and I'm so thankful for that because, like I said, like the writer, the head writer, my co-directors, my entire team, we became NCT127 stands, and we're so excited, and we're trying to make something very special for the fans. And it was such a growing experience. It was really tough, like every film, but it was impossible schedule, impossible budget, and also you know, like I said, like, you know, you as a director, you're always like dissatisfied with the final work. You inevitably are, because like a lot of it gets cut by the companies and stuff like that. And you know, I wish maybe in 10 years I'll do a director's cut after I become a more accomplished director. So root for that, and then maybe I'm serious, actually. Like that's like on my to-do list. I really want to come back, like maybe like 10 years from now, and do a director's cut or something.
누구나 한 번쯤 꿔봤을 꿈이잖아요.
이번 7년차 때 제가 배웠던 것은 사랑하는 법인 것 같아요.